So Kevin hates Game of Thrones.
I didn't say I hate Game of Thrones. I just hate all of the characters and the plot.
Oh, well, I mean, there's so much.
I hate Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you love Vikings.
Well, see, I don't know what it is about Vikings, but it just holds my attention much better than Game of Thrones does.
What do you think of Westworld?
From the episodes that I saw, I really liked it.
Okay, good, because I would have slapped you if you just said I don't like it, or if you'd have made reference to the fucking 70s movie, which was bad.
I would have been. Now, I will say that I actually would have much preferred if they had done Medieval World as the TV show instead of Westworld.
Hey, as someone who hates Westerns, no one is going to agree with you more. No one. And on that note, let's go to the credits, which I'll edit in a later time. This is how I know there's going to be kitties. That way I can edit out the kitties, and then I'll know that that's the time. Welcome to the greatest show. There's 3 of us tonight. I was expecting like 5 or 6 or maybe even 7. I'm stupid. And I'm DJ, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Trisha. Say hello.
Hi.
And my other lovely wife, Kevin.
Hey. So yeah, tonight's going to be a very skeleton crew night unless Rachel shows up at some point.
Rachel should be here tonight. Her friend Maya was also supposed to be here, but until she actually shows up, I'm going to go with the theory of she doesn't exist. So, funny story. I worked with a guy named Rob for years. I met him at a call center. We worked on multiple accounts together at this call center, and then we moved to different jobs, and then we later met up at another center where information was processed. All of this time, he kept talking about this girlfriend he had. How she was this great, and how she was that great, and she was this, and she was that, and he just kept talking about her. So I said, when are we going to meet her? He's like, sometime. Then he would make some plans, and then they would back out. He would make some plans, and then they would back out. So one day, I look at his best buddy, and I'm like, all right, just go along with me. He's like, what? So I started talking to Rob. I'm like, your girlfriend doesn't exist. He goes, what? Darren, which is his buddy's name. Darren can prove he exists. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we met her the very next time that all of us got together. So Maya doesn't exist until she appears.
Well, I mean, either she doesn't exist or she has really weird parents. I mean, those are our options.
Yes. Yes. So, unlike last week or the week before or the other 128 episodes that have happened in this wonderful show of ours, or 129, whatever, my math is bad. I've come up with a list of topics, which I'm going to do weekly so that we all have something to talk about. Now,
I guess this is where I should just leave then.
What?
Well, none of the topics have anything to do with anything I care about, correct?
Well, it can be just me and Kevin, I suppose. But
well, we can also add topics to the list.
Yeah, we can do this on the fly too. I just want to have a base to fall back on so that we're not sitting here with our thumbs in our asses, pretending to plug products that we don't have advertising dollars for.
And that we would probably be sued for if they found out that we were plugging them.
Like the giant Budweiser sign that's normally behind Metal Jesus' head.
We are legally required to inform you that we are not sponsored by Budweiser.
You know, you would think that they would get wind of a show like this and go, hey, we'll start pouring some dollars into there, and I would immediately start advertising with those dollars. Like advertising the show out there, and then we could plug.
Because every smart business just throws money at random shit. I I mean, that's how you do good business.
Now wait a minute.
I mean, it worked for Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's true. Now,
Well,
if
it didn't, but filing bankruptcy did.
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm not suggesting that they would throw money at just everything, but I mean, we've been going for this is our 132nd episode, so it's not like we're brand new. We're not going anywhere. I mean, it's not like tomorrow I'm going to go, I'm done with The Greatest Show. Because that would be silly. So, we had a lot of pre-show conversations just between us. Well, I mean, just us, because I was assuming more people would show up. So, rather than completely rehash those, let's start with, I had mentioned on my list that there was the Lion Forge Comics has begun their superhero shared universe. Their aim is to be diverse. So whereas like a Marvel and a DC basically did straight white male superheroes for decades before integrating women and people of color and other nationalities and things like that.
And even then, they had super offensive themes. Let's not forget that.
What? How can you say Black Lightning is a super offensive theme?
Oh,
Or-
well, I was referring more to, like, for instance, Wonder Woman.
Wait, why is
You
her
know,
theme?
her original weakness was having her hands tied by a man.
Well, but her whole comic was
And then the Justice
basically.
League made her their secretary.
Well, the creator of her comic, it was basically a veiled way for him to let everybody know that he was into BDSM. Hence the lasso of truth. You have to be tied up with it, and then you have to tell the truth. Have you been a bad boy?
See, I don't feel like it
Okay.
was necessary to put that in a comic because everyone already knows that everyone is into BDSM.
She's not into BDSM.
Yeah, I don't need
I'm
to
not
hear
either.
anything about that.
Well, hey, you just said everybody was. All right, there's two. Your formula is now flawed.
No, there's two who haven't admitted it.
When we were booking the hotel we're currently sitting in, I don't know if there was a options that you could have added. I was tempted to tell you to put in request sex swing. But I knew she wouldn't put that in. But I thought it would be funny as if they got that in their like special request sex swing. Oh.
Yeah, I requested a room on the opposite side of the building from the busy road so that it would be quiet.
Yeah.
That's what I put in my special instructions.
See, that's not nearly as fun as sex swing. Or picture of Nicolas Cage. You know about that story?
I don't think I want to know about that story.
So there was a lady staying in a hotel, and I don't know where it was at, like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And after they, some sort of, is there anything we can do to help, your after the. So what she put on, like a picture of Nicholas. So the next day when they redid her, recleaned her room, there was a picture of Nicolas Cage sitting on her pillow. So she started making like, well, I want a specific movie, and I want him looking this direction. I want him hanging out on the back of the door. Right? He just kept going with this, and they were all along for the ride. And then, last night she was standing there. The requests going into it, but the housekeeping staff put little Nicolas Cage head. That was what she requested. They were just creepy. I thought it was funny.
You often think things are funny.
Siberian husky.
Like that. Being trapped in a car is getting really tough.
Side tangent. There is a river near our hometown called the Knife River.
Oh God.
So I had in my head the whole with his face basically up against the cage, and of course his teeth are showing it, and that one is Fiberian. So when we went by the Knife River, I said, "That's the Knife River you got there."
And then when we went by any other
River
anywhere of any size,
was,
he also said that to me.
yeah, Husky. Yeah, it's good stuff. I got a message from. Well, Rachel's not coming.
Yep, so she's bailed. Bob's bailed. Looks like Llama still hasn't returned your message. So
No. Yeah, he has. Does have an excuse. His 11th anniversary. So,
What is the topic?
Lion Forge Comics.
Oh, okay.
I was going into that. They're doing their diversifying. So one of their superheroes, for instance, is somebody with Down syndrome. I know that there is a black superhero. In fact, is black. He doesn't. I don't think he remembers who he has powers to do stuff. I don't know. But all of this starts with the Lion Forge Comics Catalyst Prime Free Comic Book Day comic, which is now available free on Comixology.com or Comixology, the app, which you can read. And I have read it. Brand new shared universe. We lost Kevin.
Have we read any of the other? I mean, I haven't read other free comics.
Kevin? You like disappeared there for a second.
Disconnected and had to reconnect.
Gotcha. See, I was worried about our connection here in the hotel. Had almost no problems at all.
Yeah, see, I'm still having some intermittent silence on my end.
Oh. Maybe I have problems and I don't realize it.
Well, I mean, that could be said of you almost always, though.
Oh. What?
I wish I had intermittent silence. I long for that.
You listen, you get at least Oh my. So now that I have told you about the Lion Forge comics, is that something you would check out?
I mean,
So that I have somebody
eventually, maybe. Right now, I've been reading a web novel series.
Which one?
Have you heard of Worm?
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it though.
Okay, so it's like a this really long story that was done as a bunch of blogspot posts, and it's basically about a more realistic world that has superheroes in it.
Like, do they have superpowers?
Yes. What I mean by more realistic is like the public's perception of them is more realistic. Like,
So completely skeptical.
well, no, like the like all of the actual heroes are registered and employed by the government, for instance, and anyone who doesn't do that is considered a villain, regardless of what they actually do.
Okay.
Also, like, they don't treat it as superheroes are superheroes all over the world. It's like superheroes in this region of the world are treated entirely different than superheroes in this region of the world. So, like, in some like less developed areas of the world, superheroes that, you know, show that they have powers are hunted down and burned alive as witches.
So it can be like how women are treated around the world differently by read.
Much talk about women are treated differently anywhere.
But like, point being, it's not as homogenous as a lot of like comic lines treat them.
Yeah, well, no, never mind. They're employed. I was going to say, do they actually have to find pay bills and have a day job? But
yeah, like the superheroes that work for the government have like a paycheck that there's. Like, I haven't read a whole lot of it so far, but like from the beginning, the main character that it follows is like just recently started developing her powers, and then she tried to become a superhero but got super fucked over by one of the existing superheroes because it turns out he's a total jerk. And so then, since she couldn't become a superhero anymore, she ended up joining a group of supervillains. And so she's like normal teenage girl, but now she has to be a supervillain.
kind of sounds like the magicians, like the ones who don't get into that school.
You have to go be hedge
witches. Yeah.
Hedge witches and stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, well, also the way that superpowers develop in this particular series is that you have to go through some kind of like extremely traumatic experience for the powers to actually appear. So there tend to be a lot more villains than there are heroes because that's the type of person who experiences horrible, horrible emotional trauma.
Okay, so it's kind of like, although not exactly, the Psyots from Valiant. Most people have the ability to have some sort of superpower unlocked, but the process to unlock that is about 25% non-lethal, except for one Psyot who has the ability to have a 100% conversion rate. He just asks if they want it, he gives it to them. And that's something Valiant does. That's the closest analog I can think of to it. I follow the Psyot characters because that's my favorite superpower in the Valiant universe.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, that kind of take on it, because even the like actual heroic types of superpowered people, even they've got serious emotional issues because of the horrible experiences that led to them having powers to begin with.
Is the power somehow based on whatever they go through to get it, or does it just seem?
No, it doesn't seem like it. Like the main character of the story so far, hers stemmed from she was being constantly bullied up to the point of trying to commit suicide. And then when she was in the hospital recovering from her suicide attempt, that's when her powers developed. And her powers are based on basically just being able to control insects.
Okay.
Now, is she the one that's the supervillain?
Yes.
Okay. So we're following...
That was actually part of what caused it. Was no one was able to accept that she was, a heroic type of superpowered person, because her power was something that they would assume that a supervillain would have.
Racists.
Okay.
Classists? I don't know what you would say to that. Superists? Millenists? Powerists? I'm going to stop there. But you can get the free issue on Comixology, which you can then read and then we can compare what the possibilities of things are, or I can keep you up to date because I'm going to be reading it because I thought that getting in on the ground floor of Lion Forge would be exciting. So
Yeah, just like give me the abridged version every time they release a new one.
well, I suppose I can do that. I also briefly talked with you earlier about, I put it on the list as DC versus Watchmen, but this would be spoiler zone here for anyone at this point. If you have not been following DC Rebirth or haven't heard anything about it and you don't know anything about what's going on in DC right now, you're either living under a rock or you have you're not reading DC Comics. You're not reading comics at all. So
I'm B.
She's B.
I'm option B.
She also does live under a rock. So for those that don't know, when DC did their DC Rebirth thing, they kind of insinuated that Dr. Manhattan of the Watchmen created the Flashpoint DC universe. And they have been kind of working towards a confrontation. And there was recently a 4-issue crossover between Batman and the Flash that basically says that the next time we hear about it, it's going to be like Superman versus Dr. Manhattan. I'm a big Watchmen fan. I have discovered that Kevin is also a big Watchmen fan.
Just from seeing that movie, I don't understand how anyone can take him on. How anyone can take Dr. Manhattan on.
Well, the reason that it's Dr. Manhattan versus Superman is because Superman is the biggest Mary Sue ever.
It's true. You may need to explain what a Mary Sue is.
Oh. So a Mary Sue character is one who is... like, they've got all of the awesome powers and almost no weaknesses, and basically they're designed to just be super cool.
Okay.
Like, nothing really bad ever seems to happen to them.
So who would be another one?
People are saying that Rey from the new Star Wars movie is a Mary Sue, but
I'm not buying that one.
I don't either.
Based on your description, that doesn't sound...
Right. No, like,
Huh.
okay, I hate to use this as an example, but have you read or seen Twilight?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she's read,
No.
but I have both read and seen.
I couldn't stand
pretty much every single main character from that movie is a Mary Sue.
Okay. That makes sense. I get it.
I can't argue with that.
Right, like, for instance, Bella just happens to be the only person anywhere who the vampire's powers don't work on. And, whatever.
That was explained, though. It's because her power is of powers.
They explain that towards the very end, and then that still doesn't actually explain it.
It's enough it's enough explanation for me, but I also don't spend 90% of my time going, the color of the paint on my bedroom wall is still a better viewing than Twilight, because I can get over the fact that vampires sparkle for yourself. If you hate it and shut the fuck up about it. Otherwise it's going to keep popping up.
Yeah, see, my entire outlook on the Twilight series is that it's just boring.
I feel that way about the Pirates of the Caribbean. like there's another one coming out? Why?
The first Pirates of the Caribbean is good. It's the second and third one that they're shaky. The fourth one was okay. And yeah, now there's a fifth one. I mean, how many dead sailor pirates can rise from the ocean to want to take on this one specific. I mean, how awesome was he in his youth, for fuck's sake? We don't ever get the idea that he was the pirate.
Well, actually, there is a lot of reference to him like being a super famous pirate at the very least, because like everyone seems to have heard of him.
But I think with the reference, like the very first time that's Captain Jack Sparrow. He's like, but you have heard of me. You know that when he floats in on the
Like
top
Chuck
of the
Norris.
Yeah, I see. I don't ever get the sense that he has done as much. I mean, every movie that pops up, and there's another. Oh, he killed me. I'm after him because I'm Davy Jones. Oh, he killed me. I'm after him because I'm Cthulhu. I mean, I don't get the sense that he
Maybe I'd watch that one.
Well, I would probably too, but I don't get the sense that he has done. I don't get the sense that he is like because someone to have done as much as he is implied to have done would be the single most famous pirate on the entire planet. And he's not.
Just DJ, remember this was before YouTube and Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
So they couldn't spread that information as quickly.
Well,
They had to do it by carrier parrot.
the thing is though that he's shown as not being. Pirates become well known because they say murder a bunch of people. Like, that's why the Black Pearl is so well known, is because they slaughter entire like towns and stuff. And the reason Blackbeard was so feared was because he, killed all the people and was rumored to be immortal.
I don't know. We're completely away from the Watchmen here, but I mean, I have a friend who's super excited that Pirates is out. I'm happy for him. Great. I'll wait to see it until it comes out onto some sort of video platform like a Netflix or a Hulu, so that I'm not even spending money on it.
And I'm gone for the night.
And she's gone for the night. But back to Watchmen. The Alan Moore, when he wrote The Watchmen, based every single one of those superheroes off of a character from Charlton Comics, right? So Dr. Manhattan is actually based off of Captain Atom, which is now a DC superhero. So Captain Atom and Dr. Manhattan are technically the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Captain Atom hasn't bested Superman is the interesting thing here. But I mean, they have portrayed, in my mind, Alan Moore portrayed Dr. Manhattan a lot more sinister, or I don't know. Sinister's not the word. It's.
Why are they all of a sudden going to go after each other?
It's insinuated that Dr. Manhattan has created or changed the DC universe to suit his own needs, and I don't know what the trumped up reason for Superman going after him, but I mean, that's what superheroes do, is they get into a fight and then they become friends.
Yeah, I mean, they've built most of the DC franchise, it seems like, off of the rivalry between Superman and Batman. So,
which is ridiculous because there's absolutely no way superpower is money. An alien who is literally powered by the sun, who is our Mary Sue.
yeah. Seriously, I think what pisses me off about Superman the most is the fact that he has like 50 freaking different powers depending on who the writer is.
Every time somebody wants to add something, they do. I was super excited when they made Superman an electric hero, like he had lightning powers. Do you remember that in blue costume? I really taken him in a direction, and he didn't have his standard power set anymore. And man, that was universally that they immediately went back to the way he had been, and I was like, I don't care anymore.
Well, that makes me think of a zombie movie or a vampire movie where you have to establish, okay, what are the rules as compared to the rules that you think are standard on a different vampire or zombie movie. So if they change Superman's powers.
Yeah, I'm interested in the watch meme. I am one of those people that does not give a rat's booty. I don't want to be laden with 75-year man's done in order to read the story that's going to come out next month. I should not be burdened with that. I don't think the writers should be burdened with that. You've got this multiple universe thing going on in DC. Just tell the fucking story. It doesn't have to tie into set worth of what the character's done, for fuck's sake. Which is why I'm so fortunate coming up with a brand new superhero universe. They don't have no history. Starts right there.
Yeah, history.
Math sucks.
See, I have to disagree with you, but only because I get paid to do math.
But now, what I've noticed in life is that you either like math or you like history.
I like math.
And Kevin, which one do you like? Which one?
I don't have a preference on that one.
Really? You didn't hate one and love the other?
No.
Well, then you're weird.
The only class that I ever hated was PE, basically. I hated that class.
I didn't like English. I didn't like history.
See, I failed phys ed one semester because I wouldn't shower after class in the locker room showers. Because just no.
Yeah.
I didn't like phys ed, so I didn't have to I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, see, I'm not comfortable with the idea of being naked in a shower with other people around.
Yes. And young people who are likely to, I don't know, be immature.
Yeah, so that's why I failed that class, which was, I think, the only class I've ever failed.
Not me.
I've never failed a class.
I failed a few. I love geometry so much I took it twice.
But geometry is one of the easier ones.
Well, see,
I wasn't good with geometry. I was way better with algebra.
So, funny story with the geometry. It wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. It's because I never did the daily assignments. I didn't do a single daily assignment that first year, not one. So I would come into the class for the test, and I would ace the test. So it was 3 school year, and the teacher finally goes, "Why don't you do the daily assignments?" And I'm like, I don't care. He goes, you would have an A in this class easy because you aced the tests. If it was the opposite way around, I would say you're from somebody, but you can't come into the test with somebody else's answers. I mean, you're doing that on your own. I'm like, I just don't care. Time. I did enough daily assignments pass because I could still ace the tests. With a year under my belt, I kind of knew what to expect too. It was more advanced than the class I was going through with the second time.
Yeah, see, for me, tests have always been super easy. Like, all throughout high school, I never studied for a test, but I also never got anything less than an A-.
Do you take notes?
No.
Do you take notes?
in high school?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I just retained information easily.
Easy. So I developed this.
Still are.
I developed this habit where I can just sit in a class and listen and visually and audibly associate information with something. So
If you listen.
I do that all the time, and I always say it's a weird way to start a conversation. So I don't need to take notes because I don't, and I'm not getting everything when I take the notes. So I have learned to just listen in a class.
If you pay some.
That's how I take notes. So I've done that. I can, if I know how to trigger it, I'll get fairly decent details out of it.
I think what I've always
We're
been best at is just making stuff up on the spot, and it usually just works.
No, see, no, my method is awesome. I teach anyone else my method, but it's basically how I learn everything. I have to.
Subject.
In the subject. I can't. You're teaching me how to do it. If you were just going to explain it to me and then expect me to do it, I don't get any of that. So if she was going to teach me how to knit right now, she can't just tell me what she's doing. She has to have me do it while I'm doing it and pick it up.
You were interested in knitting,
If I was interested in knitting, which I'm not.
right? No amount of teaching you is going to.
Right.
You will choose to ignore it.
Did we lose you again, Kevin?
No, I'm here. You are still cutting out, though.
It's so weird. I don't know how to fix that on my end either.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's not my connection because I've had a pretty strong connection all week.
So we're going to go with the next, I don't know, 15 minutes or so to see if I cut out or we cut out, since we're both using the same microphone.
Okay.
So,
And he's saying that because he reached over and turned off the air conditioner. Not that you'd have any idea because he didn't bother saying anything.
well, I'm trying to remove the noises on my end without explaining every back end thing to everyone out that isn't watching us right now. You know, we never got any views on our live show last week, and we got one view on the edited version. Which is actually longer than the live show because all I do is cut out a little bit for the opening sequence, and then I put in our special opening with our Q Rangers. So it's a little longer, actually, but whatever. I am putting this out as an audio podcast, so I mean, I haven't looked at the exact numbers yet, but I know that my own personal audio podcast, The Spectre Show, is getting way more downloads than I would have imagined this early in the game. So I'm kind of angling things to get that more popular, I guess. I haven't quite done a one-to-one, this is what I'm talking about, this is why it's so popular thing, but I bullet journal. So I created a role-playing game system to make you want to continue bullet journaling if you're already bullet journaling. I think anecdotally that those are the episodes that get the high number of downloads because I'm talking about it. So when the system gets released in the next week or so, then we'll see what kind of traffic we get on the website. And then maybe I'm going to put out this is what the system is video on YouTube so that I can see what kind of traffic I get for that. Because bullet journaling traffic, bullet journal videos on YouTube, I notice, have a fairly decently high view rate. And a lot of them are really old, like 2 years plus old, or 7 months plus old.
Yeah, I'm thinking that when we have, well, next month when Final Fantasy releases, I'm going to have to set up a Twitch channel for that.
Are you able to simultaneously stream to Twitch and to YouTube?
I don't know.
Can you download your Twitch after you're done streaming, or is it only live?
Well, I've never actually set up a Twitch channel before, so I'm
Oh.
not sure exactly how that works.
Because, you know, we can connect you to this YouTube channel and you can stream it here on YouTube. That would be awesome. And then we'd have all kinds of extra content, and I would watch them.
That's true. I could probably just plug in a headset to my controller and I could be able to provide commentary while I play.
We had problems with that. What did it boil down to? You had to use a certain.
If you're gonna do that, I would get a rig specifically for game. So that basically get a headset microphone combination that's specifically for PlayStation to plug in to commentate. Because when I did that with No Man's Sky, the audio of the game was so much louder than I was, and I don't remember what I did to ramp my audio up, but I had to use like a specific headset microphone combination from like a old phone that we had gotten. I mean, it was really shoddy. It was like an earbud with a thing that you talk into. I wanted to use
microphone.
I meant the little plastic thing that has the microphone on it, like the volume and stuff. But I would have rather had a microphone or plug in my earpods or something, you know, something that I knew had a higher quality, but it wouldn't recognize the AirPods, for instance, or earpods. So I would strongly suggest going with a headset that is specifically designed for that.
All right, I'll need to look into that then.
Have we cut out at all? Would we have cut out by now if we had?
Yeah, no, you've been fine since you turned that off, so I think that's what the issue was.
Yeah, and I'm as far as this goes, it's literally right there. So I mean, it's super close. I mean, when I reached over, you saw that I wasn't even gone off the screen. So
yeah,
problem solved.
Yeah, so I think I've still got a few more days, so I'm going to look into setting up a Twitch channel or streaming to YouTube or whatever and get the right headset to do it. Because we've got coming up the Morrowind expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, followed by the Stormblood expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, followed by the Final Fantasy XII remake.
12 or 10?
12.
Who was the lead character in 12?
Vaughn.
I'm going to have to Google that. I know that we've had this conversation before. I just don't.
Yes, we have.
Oh.
It was at the same time that I told you that they had the Final Fantasy X remaster.
Maybe that's why. Okay, so 12. Gotcha. 12 is the cover. That cover.
I can almost see it.
That cover.
Okay.
Yeah, the dude with the stupid-looking short vest.
Yeah, and the lady with the bunny ears. So, okay. So, all right. Got it. So then 13 would have been...
I never played 13.
Really?
Yeah, no, I played...
Oh, 13 would have been Lightning and the ladies. Because there's a 13-2.
Yeah, with Final Fantasy, I haven't actually played a whole bunch of the games. I played 8, I played Crisis Core, 10, a little bit of 10-2, 12, and then 14.
And 15, because you've already beaten that, making me very ashamed that I haven't put more effort into it. But I don't have like gads of time either.
And if you do, you spend it on your phone.
I have whittled it down now to doing the game in the morning and the game in the evening, because I have one that refreshes at each time, and then not spending as much time on it, except for our vacation, where I get to do what I want on my vacation because it's my vacation.
But not mine.
One of my friends just texted me, I guess he and his girlfriend are stoned in a park arena listening to a Pink Floyd cover band right now.
Seems like a very bad combination there.
Well, I mean, listening to Pink Floyd when you're stoned it's an experience.
Is this in a place where being stoned is legal?
Yes.
So then there's probably lots of people stoned in that place listening to Pink Floyd cover band.
There's a Roger Waters Pink Floyd thing coming to the Moda Center. I want to say towards the end of June, that I would really love to go to. But it's the same weekend as the Heroes and Villains Fan Fest. And I know I'll be volunteering there.
So it's not my fault that she can't go.
Nope.
And when is that happening again?
I think
I know I ask this like almost every week, but
That's fine, because I keep forgetting what Final Fantasy 12 is every week.
it is June 24th and 25th.
okay,
Saturday
well,
and
I
Sunday.
probably won't be able to make it to that one then.
That's a major bummer. You know who should have come on this show to make it super exciting? Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I think that you would have to actually be bigger than we are for him to want to make an appearance.
Yeah, I totally think that if I just pelt him with hashtags and stuff often enough, he'll just, hey, I think that'd be fun to just drop in once and say hi. I mean, it's not like I'm asking him to stay for 150 episodes. Hey, Jimmy, I know you're busy, but do you have time this weekend for the greatest show?
Maybe he can send you a pre-recorded message.
You can send us a pre-recorded message, Jimmy Fallon, and I would play it. Are you watching the concert now?
Well, I was watching two super stoned people trying to film a concert.
Fun times. Fun times.
I'm still annoyed that I forgot about the rave and didn't go to it.
Now, I'm an old man that does not have a rocking chair this week, but I'm still an old man. So what happens at a rave? What do you kids do at these raves?
People get drunk and high and dance to electronic music.
And everybody wraps up and goes home by 9:30, right?
I don't think they have raves in nursing homes, at least
Oh.
currently.
Well, that just shatters my hip. That's an old reference.
When have you ever been to a concert that ended by 9:30?
Well, considering that I've only been to like 4 personally, none.
Hell, the last concert that I went to was a blues concert, and it didn't wrap up until 1 a.m.
The last concert I was at, I'm pretty sure was the Nine Inch Nails one. Is that right, hon?
Or Paul McCartney in Portland.
Paul McCartney.
Or Wilco in Portland, depending on what order they happened.
I think that Paul McCartney was the last one. So I would have been to Paul McCartney. I went to 2 Paul McCartney concerts, 1 Nine Inch Nails, 2 Wilcos, Bob Dylan, and
Garbage.
Oh, Garbage. I was gonna say Beastie Boys, but that's not right. The other boys. The Beach Boys.
Yeah, so Garbage. I got it.
We also went to Weezer.
Oh, Weezer. Hey, I remember that. Okay, Go.
Okay, Go.
I really hope that Nine Inch Nails comes back through because I want to go to another concert. And I know, see, the last one we went to, the only one we went to, I didn't mind where I sat because I just wanted to be there live. Well, with the light and effects show that was going on the floor, I realized I should probably make an effort to be on the floor or very near it. I got the gist, but I mean, it probably would have been a different experience down there. But I haven't been a concert goer. I'm not the guy that stands and chants and hops and flails my arms around. I'm pretty reserved.
See, a couple of my friends a little while back went to a Viking metal concert, which looks pretty amazing.
I have to know what a Viking metal concert is.
Let me see if I can find any pictures.
Okay. And while you're looking, I'll check to see what else I had on the list other than mobile gaming or console gaming. Because we could talk about gaming in general after your concert thing there.
Yeah, because, then I can talk about the ridiculous games that I'm setting up right now.
Yes, after that. Rather than wait, I'll just run through that. I do most of my gaming on this device here, which is my iPhone. And used to play a lot of different stuff. The thing that I have spent the most time playing is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And then I recently just picked up Wuxia Legends, which I've been sticking with a little bit too. And if it continues just being what it is, I think it's going to be kind of boring the longer it goes on. But there are a lot of things that keep unlocking as I reach certain levels. So I don't know when that's going to stop. But there's a lot of areas I can't get into yet. So that's going to be interesting to see about. Plus, it's like ancient Kung Fu Chinese things going on, and I love that. So it's probably going to be a topic on the Spectre show in the near future, along with the Bujo RPG, bullet journal role-playing game in the future. What you making?
I am making a hat out of pretty striped yarn.
We should make like a rainbow striped hat for Kuik there and make him wear it on the show every week and every day during the winter.
I was supposed to make myself a hat to wear in Beulah while we were there, and that never happened. So then I mean, I've been working on it, and now where we're going back to, it's 90 degrees.
Which is which is warm.
Okay, so this is a Viking metal concert.
Oh my god.
So let me pop you up as the main screen. So it's just a lot of props. I mean,
Well, no, like for instance, there is a band, Ailstorm, that does all of their songs are about Vikings and pirates.
okay.
It's actually pretty awesome. You'll need to look them up.
I did look up when I first heard about them, the band that rebranded themselves as steampunk. Got metal, steampunk metal steampunk. Airship Pirates was their song. It was awesome. I'm sure they've come up with more since, but I mean that one was cool. I can Google it for you. Airship Pirates steampunk band. Abney Park is a steampunk band based in Seattle.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they branded themselves as a steampunk band, which is like industrial dance, world music, and steampunk influenced lyrics in their works. And their latest album. Oh, wow, they've gone way past Airship Pirates. So the Lost Horizons album of theirs came out in 2008. And they are now on an album like 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 albums later. Under the Floor, Over the Wall, which came out last year. I liked Airship Pirates. I'm sure the other stuff is good too. So release the Kraken on the sick RPGs you're making for us.
So I wouldn't be quite that excited about it, but so I have a tendency to take video games and like mangas and animes and just various other things that I enjoy that are not in any kind of a game format, and convert the worlds that are depicted in them into D&D campaigns. So like I did one before with Game of Thrones, where I took the Game of Thrones universe and turned it into a D&D game, you know, removing all of the characters that I hate and all that.
So you removed everybody?
Yeah. Well, I set it like 200 years before the Game of Thrones like TV show happened.
Wise idea. Because the one thing I hate about games that are tied into media properties
is that they happen during you have to play a character that's one of the characters from the show or whatever.
Or if you're playing Star Wars and you happen to run into Han Solo, now what do you do? Because it's not like you're going to derail his. I mean, you're not the main character in that scenario.
Right. Yeah. So what I've been working on recently, because a couple of my friends wanted to try out these D&D campaigns, and I already had some of the stuff figured out for them, is so I'm converting the world from Final Fantasy XIV and the world from The Witcher into D&D games. I'm also working with another friend who wants to run a superhero game on creating a superhero themed game that's based on the White Wolf World of Darkness rule set.
That would be interesting. I would want the scenario to be more like a TV adaptation of a superhero, like an Arrow, so they wouldn't be running around in spandex because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right. That's basically what we're doing is like superheroes as they would be in the world of darkness. So, you've got, maybe body armor, but mostly just like hoodies and masks and stuff.
I think that the hoodie thing is well overdone on TV, but I get the gist there is that it's an easy way to obscure your identity if for just a little bit.
Right. So, and I've been working that out like as a major splat. So you've got like for instance, where you've got the werewolf tribes, and then you've also got the what are they called?
Vampire clans or auspices and
auspice, yeah. So you've got the auspice, which is, their, I guess you could say like the race of werewolf they are. And then you've got the tribe, which is the social group that they fall into. And it's like that with pretty much every single one of the World of Darkness game lines. They all have that theme running where you've got the birthright type and then the social group. So for the superhero game, the birthright axis that we're using is I decided to call it Genesis, which is where the powers come from. Like, is your character a mutant? Do they get their power from technology or some kind of artifact? Or are they like psychic or, whatever? So that's like where the powers originate from, which also allows you to decide, okay, so what's your character's weakness then? Like if they get their powers from an artifact, having that artifact taken away from them would cause them to lose their powers.
Yes. So like Mjolnir.
Right.
The way it was originally intended.
And then for the social categories, you've got two major ones, which is, heroic and villainous. And then beneath those, there are, different types of organizations that they fall into.
Okay.
So, like, you could be, for instance, part of, like, a Justice League style thing is one of the ones for heroes. Or you could be, like, part of a secret society if you're villainous. Or,
Or you can be part of the Legion of Doom, which has their own swamp, their own large headquarters. It's well funded. They're apparently getting power from somewhere.
Right. So basically, it just turns superheroes into just another one of the major splats for the World of Darkness games.
And I mean, it's an oversimplification, but for the powers, you could literally just translate. You could take vampire powers and just make it, pick the one that's closest and just literally translate it over, modifying it because it's not a vampire anymore. So no blood loss, for instance.
Well, what I actually did for the actual powers themselves was I actually found a list on Wikipedia of all of the different powers displayed by comic book characters. And then I just whittled that down into the ones that actually made sense to be included. And then, worked out how those work.
There are a lot of ridiculous superpowers in comics.
Right, because, sure, the ability to eat any kind of matter, that's totally a power, but why would anyone ever choose it?
It's true. But I could be the gut.
Yeah, well, we ran a prototype game a a while back with some of my friends just to see how well it balanced out and everything. And it got really dark really fast.
Okay.
Because like one of the players decided that they wanted to play like sort of a Punisher type character, so able to use guns and stuff like that. And they wanted to have their power as being super speed at its maximum allowable level. So basically this person was emptying the clips of 2 different guns in 1 round. And
now, hold on a second. Here's the flaw in that. Sure, the Flash can pull a trigger at Flash-like speeds, but the gun is still only going to operate at normal speed.
Right, but we actually addressed that with the guns were made for him by a different member of the team who had like super intelligence and the ability to make, advanced weaponry and stuff.
Okay.
So it got around that.
Using your system there, I've always thought it would be neat to, if you've got 4 players and you're the game master, tell the origin story of each of your 4 player characters with the other players not directly, they can't use theirs. So if we're your 2 people, it's her origin story, so I am one of her supporting characters. So all the other players are playing the supporting characters until you've had all the origin stories, and then you can go forward with the team. I thought that would be a neat way to do it.
Yeah, but anyways, so that same character, the one with the super speed and like to shoot people.
The Flash Punisher, yes.
Yes. Who was supposed to be a hero.
Wasn't.
Well, he decided that he wanted to try and track down a major drug cartel. So they went to a nightclub and found someone who was selling ecstasy or whatever. And they dragged him out into the alley behind the place and asked him where his drugs were coming from. He refused to talk, so Punisher dude decides, okay, I'm going to shoot him in the kneecap. And like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. And so that happened. He tortured the dude for information and then just decided to leave him alive but bleeding out in a dumpster so that they could go and find the where the drugs were coming from. And another one of the players who was playing a healer type character, it's like, well, I'm going to heal this guy first and then we can leave. So he did that, and Punisher dude says, okay, so I shoot this guy in his kneecaps again and then we leave. And so it just got ridiculous. And about an hour later, after they had done a whole bunch of other stuff, the guy who was playing that character is sitting there and is like, I probably could have just punched that guy first instead of shooting him, huh?
Yeah. And Punisher only works in a world with superheroes because there has to be something that he's offset against, and he's not a hero. He is an anti-hero, and most heroes won't hang out with an anti-hero.
Well, most of the other characters were doing a pretty decent job of keeping him in check, but it just went so off the rails so quickly.
Well, I guess you could always do the whole, when the focus of the game stops becoming about the heroes doing heroic things and the heroes trying to protect their idiot buddy from the authorities because he's constantly going around shooting people. Maybe the light bulb will go off and you would probably want to switch characters at that point. Just saying.
Well, we did have someone who decided to switch characters mid-game because he had decided to create a character that was based around magnetism as the power and just was not finding any real opportunities to use it.
Are you kidding me? Next to telekinesis, that is the most devastating superpower I can think of, because you know how much metal is in this world. Plus, magnetism also fits in with electricity. So, I mean, you could also tangentially operate with electricity.
Yeah.
You could also have an evil stare that changes subjects really fast. Look, she's got the power. I've got the power.
Well, see, the main issue that was coming into play was that he was thinking of magnetism as just like basically Magneto's main well-known ability of being able to move metal around.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't thinking of all of the different applications.
Yeah, I would that's
And it was a mostly like investigative style game that we were trying to do. But anyway, so he changed midway through and decided to give himself the power of exploding, which I didn't really understand, but was like, all right, whatever, fine.
So wait, so is this,
as long as he can rebuild himself, I guess.
yeah, is this the exploding and he rebuilds himself after a little while, or is this the exploding and he walks out because he technically at that point didn't explode, like things explode off of him?
No, it was he actually. I mean, there's a huge explosion, and then he reforms afterwards.
And how is that more useful than magnetism?
I don't know.
That's like me saying, all right, I'm going to have super strength. I don't really need super strength because this is an investigation game, so I don't need the super strength, even though I could use it to lift heavy objects that we can't normally look under. And instead, my suit is going to be X-ray vision, because that helps me see through ladies' skirts.
Yeah, that particular game didn't go very well just because I don't think anyone was really taking it seriously.
I would take it seriously, Kevin.
But hopefully once I get the Witcher thing figured out, that'll actually be pretty fun to go through.
I'm glad you went back around to that. So we were listening to Cord Killers today, which is this, and they had said that there's a network developing a Witcher TV show, and it has input from the author.
Yep, Netflix is actually doing it.
Okay, so then there was the conversation about whether or not it was based off the novels or the game, and it's very clearly based off the novel. So what are you basing yours off of?
The game.
So have you read the novels?
Yes.
How big of a departure is the game from the novels?
Well, I mean, I haven't read all of the novels, mostly just the short stories, but like Geralt's personality is quite a bit different, and Ciri gets a lot more screen time in the novels than she does in the game.
So it's not like in the novels it's a band of knights fighting off raiders from villages, and the game is all about large scale dragon battles.
Oh no, I think they were pretty faithful as far as the world goes. It's just like the plot that was different.
Okay.
Like all of the characters were the same characters and retained most, at least, of their original personalities.
So when I was talking about Titan's Grave a while back, did you bother watching any of those episodes that Will Wheaton put up?
I forgot.
You should watch it. So Titan's Grave, the world was the easiest way the world was explained in the world, the explanation that seems to get everyone's attention immediately, although you may need some reference material as a frame to go back on, is that it's basically Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah, I'm going to need to look that up.
So that was a early 80s Saturday morning cartoon. It's a post-apocalyptic world where magic kind of resurfaces, and there are weird creatures and stuff. So Titan's Grave, using that same basic thing, is that Valdana, the planet, had this prehistory with all this weird shit going on. Then there was this great technological age, and then something destroyed the planet, or destroyed the surface of the planet, and the whole magic creatures and all that other stuff started rising again. So it's kind of a it's a magical fantasy land with technology.
Okay, so it's kind of like the thing that I was telling you about a while back, that the book series that I was reading about that takes place in the far future after humanity almost wiped itself out with nuclear wars. And so there's all kinds of like old technology around, but everyone thinks it's magic.
It's kind of like that, but Titan's Grave, it's actually magic. Like, you have magic and technology at the same time.
Yeah, like in the book series that I was telling you about, there is actual magic. Like, there's people can summon fire or bring the dead back to life, or, you know, things like that. And the reason that that magic exists is because humanity, before the big war that nearly wiped everything out, had found a way to screw with the laws of physics to make magic real.
So yeah, it's kind of the same thing then. The Will Wheaton basically had a highly produced story put out. It's like 10 to 12 episodes. If you look up Titan's Grave on YouTube, it's behind the scenes stuff, but it's the Ashes of Valdana.
Yeah.
Could you message me about that, just so that I have that as a reminder after the show's over?
Say that again? You want me to what?
Well, like, could you send me something through the Facebook chat about it, so that I have that after the episode's over, so I can
Absolutely
don't do that?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise I'm going to forget again.
Because otherwise, I mean, if I don't like the fantasy setting, but with the technology aspect in there and the fact that there's more going on, I would play Titan's Grave.
Oh, did you hear that they're making a I don't know if it's a movie or a TV series, but they're doing something based off of Altered Carbon by Richard K. Morgan?
I don't know what Altered Carbon is.
It's a sci-fi novel by Richard K. Morgan that is set in the far future of humanity, where they've found a way to basically create memory backups of basically people's personalities and memories that can then be downloaded into a new body later.
Yeah, it sounds like Ghost in the Shell. I just sent you the link to the playlist.
Cool, thank you.
And what was that called again?
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. Let me Google that. Oh, cyberpunk.
Yes. Very cyberpunk.
I have a love-hate relationship with the genre of cyberpunk. But this is, I can just watch it. I don't have to, read anything. But I'll give the TV show, the TV adaptation a shot.
Oh, I didn't know it had already been released.
It looks like it's television adaptation. It was announced in 2016, and the show has been ordered, but it has not yet happened. I'm just saying that because it's you mentioned the TV, and that's what's in Wikipedia here. Wikipedia.
Yeah, so they have the ability to back up people's memories and personalities and download them into a new body later, but it's super, super expensive. So most people can only afford to do it like once, and then they're just stored away forever. But then there are the people who are super wealthy who are able to do it anytime their current body starts aging too much. So they download into like younger clones of themselves.
And see, if I were running a dystopian future like that, I would totally let the poor people do it too. They would just owe me so much money that I would get them to do things that would compromise their morals and other things, because they owe me so much for allowing them to download again.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I thought was interesting about it is that it's set in the future, but they've still got like certain religious sects, like Christianity is still around, but it's considered like a weird branch thing. Like Christian beliefs are just super weird to people living in that time. But like one of the things that the Christians of that era believe is that, you know, man shouldn't have the ability to prolong life, whatever. So they sign waivers before they die saying that they don't want to ever be downloaded into a new, you know, body or whatever, which makes it very difficult which makes them targets for murder a lot of time. Like serial killers will specifically go after Christians because they can't be downloaded to testify at trial.
Well, what an interesting concept to be at the trial of the person who murdered you.
True that. Now, she watched Titan's Grave with me, so if we were to play a Titan's Grave game, would that be something you'd be interested in trying?
All it was Will Wheaton telling a story.
Basically, but it would be more interactive with us, because if Kevin, for instance, was running Titan's Grave, or if I was running Titan's Grave, I don't have the team of writers there to completely rewrite what I need for the next session ready to go. So it would be a different experience.
Maybe you guys constantly talk about doing stuff, but you never do anything. So
yeah, I meant to fill out my Exalted character sheet, and that never happened.
Yeah. That it seems like one of those things that will continue to be talked about, but never actually.
Well, with my Wuxia Legends game, I'm very excited to do Chinese stuff, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fill out my. Are you literally just waiting on me? Because if you're literally just waiting on me, I'll just get it done.
Well,
and if you're not, he'll stall some more because someone else is too. So he's under no obligation to actually move forward.
That's not true.
That's totally true.
That might be true.
Yeah, I keep getting sidetracked by other stuff, and so I still haven't actually like read the stuff about the Sidereal Exalted yet.
Aha.
So it's really not important to any of you guys.
Not really, no. It just hasn't really been much of a priority.
I'm sure neither has your attempt to get a podcast up and running.
Well, for that, I've been specifically waiting until the new games are released next month.
Oh. Okay.
Because I figure doing like a Let's Play style thing would work pretty well for a show that's about video games.
Yes. Yes, I would believe so.
Yeah, so kind of like an unboxing video, but for the video game.
Yes. I'd unbox that for $1.
So I could do like I could do an episode where it's the first time that I'm playing through some of the new content for a couple of hours and talking about what I like about it, what I don't like, and then revisit it like a week or two later, giving my latest impressions on it and showing where I am at that point. And then another one once I actually finish that content.
You could also, and I don't know if you can replay missions, for instance, but you can, if you come across a particularly interesting quest of some sort that you can replay, you can, run through it and
just start broadcasting all of my game time and just pare it down later.
I mean, that's not where I was going, but I mean, if you had if they ran you through a quest that you could take multiple times, and hey, I liked it the first time, let's go ahead and run it and explain what's going on and why I liked it, and replay it, do that.
No, they don't really have that, but they do let you go back and revisit all of the cutscenes.
Okay.
Which actually has proven really useful. Like when I forget, like there have been times where I've taken like months-long breaks from Final Fantasy, and I've come back and not really known what's going on with the main story quest anymore. So then I just go back and watch like the last 10 cutscenes up to where I am, and then that tells me what's going on in the story.
I can see that.
Plus, there are a couple that I just keep revisiting because they were so amazingly awesome.
I can also see that, because I don't know why more people don't make video game movies. There's a guy called Andy Gilliland who does the Assassin's Creed ones. He does Uncharted. He basically plays the game once through, and then he goes back and plays and edits the game into a movie. So I thoroughly enjoy his Assassin's Creed renditions, his movies.
You'll have to send me that name also, so that I can look that up.
Gotcha. Because I'm it's. I want to say that's it, but I'll double check here too. He's got it's awesome. Oh, I spelled it right. Yeah. Yeah, he's got like Arkham Asylum. He turned that into a movie. It's just, like for the Assassin's Creed stuff, he doesn't. At first, he was showing you like all the kill 10 rats scenarios, but as time has gone on, it's, rather than, hey, you need to go collect 10 pouches of coins from people that belong to this gang, he'll show some quick montage-like scenes, and then it'll just be to the, he stays on the story. So while the games have gotten longer, the movies haven't necessarily gotten longer. They're all about 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. I mean, they're paring down, 30 hours worth of gaming content to just the important stuff.
Right, yeah.
Good stuff, though. So, we have run through all of our topics for this evening. And it's just the three of us. So rather than prattle on, maybe for the viewers, we should cut this episode a little short. And then if we want, we can talk a little bit more.
All right.
Or just go to bed, because we're in the same time zone as you now. We're in Spokane. I keep calling it Spokane, so then I talk about doing lines of Spokane. Iberian Husky.
Oh, that reminds me. When we were doing the superhero game playthrough, one of the people decided that they were just going to be a normal person and be like Batman, where their superpower was just being super rich.
Yeah.
And
that didn't work out.
Turned into so much cocaine and hookers.
Because that's what a normal rich person would do. Cocaine and hookers. Sure, you have your Elon Musks and your Bill Gateses, but...
Yeah, well, because we were talking before the game about like which superhero each of us would want to be if we could choose one. and Superman was off the table because stupid Mary Sue crap. And that same person had been like, okay, so if I could be a superhero, I would choose to be Batman. And then I would stop being Batman and just be a rich person.
See, and I wouldn't even if he was an option, I wouldn't choose Superman because there's so much baggage going on with that character that I don't want to deal with that. I need somebody who doesn't have an alter ego because I don't want to remember whether or not you know who I am under a mask. So I would probably go with the cinematic universe Iron Man because then I'm rich, I have armor, and I don't care if you know who I am.
And super genius.
I am. I'm a billionaire playboy philanthropist. I'm sure there's another one in there then. What are you without the armor?
Genius billionaire.
Yeah. Genius billionaire playboy philanthropist? Literally everything that came out of you, or literally everything that you are came out of a tube, a syringe. Which one of us is wearing a spangly outfit right now?
Let's see. So I've always had trouble deciding as far as like which superhero to be, just because they all kind of, I don't know, I can't think of very many that fit with my personality. I like Raven's powers.
Raven?
Yeah. From Teen Titans.
Oh. Okay, yes.
Darkness and emotion-based powers seemed interesting to me. Because instead of like using energy rays or anything to fight people, I can just literally attack them with their worst nightmares.
Wait a minute. Who am I kidding? I would be Shazam.
Captain Marvel.
I'm okay calling him Shazam. He's my favorite hero. I'll call him what I want.
I'm not okay with that.
I don't care if you're okay with it. Besides, Captain Marvel and Shazam, while technically the same character, are no longer technically the same character. So the Shazam one has the hoodie cape, and that's totally what I want is the hoodie cape. Shazam. And with that note, we'll let all the viewers go, and we will see them next week. And hopefully we'll have a bigger cast. You want to come say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Bye, Kevin.
Goodbye, people.